Good morning. I'm Motorcycle Pastor. It is December 5th, and I want to welcome you to the Shepherd's Morning, the place where we rise with the Lord, where we rely upon His holy word each and every day of our lives. To help us do that, we're opening up Charles Spurgeon's Morning by Morning. And this morning, we're going to hear from Matthew in chapter 7, verse 7, where it's written, "Ask, and it will be given to you." Here's what Charles writes. There was a place in England that no longer exists, where a loaf of bread was served to every passer-by who chose to ask for it. Whoever the traveler was, he had only to knock at the door of St. Cross Hospital, and the loaf of bread was his to enjoy. Jesus Christ loves sinners so much that he has built a St. Cross Hospital so that whenever a sinner is hungry, he has only to knock and his needs are supplied. He has actually done better. This hospital of the cross has a bath, and whenever a soul is marred and filthy, it may go to this effective fountain and be cleansed. No sinner ever went into it and found that it could not wash away his stains. Sins that were scarlet and crimson have all disappeared, and the sinner was made whiter than snow. As if this were not enough, there is attached to the hospital of the cross a dressing room. And a sinner making application simply as a sinner may be clothed from head to foot. And if he wishes to be a soldier, he will be provided not just with street clothes, but with armor that will cover him from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. If he asks for a sword, that will be given to him, and a shield too. He will be denied nothing that is good for him. He will have spending money as long as he lives, and he will have an eternal heritage of glorious treasure when he enters into the joy of his Lord. If all these things are available by simply knocking at mercy's door, then my soul, knock hard this morning and make large requests of your generous Lord. Do not leave the throne of grace until all your wants have been spread before the Lord, and until by faith you are confident that they will all be supplied. You need not be shy about taking Jesus up on his invitation. No unbelief should hinder when Jesus promises. No cold-heartedness should restrain when such blessings are to be obtained. Those are Charles Spurgeon's thoughts and words. And indeed, we might know that concept and that little germ of faith that he's talking about, the faith of a mustard seed, and how bold it can be, what it can germinate, grow into. Today, we actually have a lot of preachers who will preach what we call prosperity gospel. God wants to give you all your desires. So you want a Cadillac? Pray for it. You want a big house? Pray for it. Don't be afraid to ask God for the big things, man. You want to be a millionaire? Pray for it. But that's prosperity gospel. Is that what Jesus taught? Is that the message that we hear echoing throughout all of the New Testament with Jesus? Summed up in this, ask and it will be given to you. Perhaps. But perhaps instead, the clearest indicator is that just because we ask doesn't mean it's given to us. It's shown to us by none other than Jesus himself when he's in the garden before his Father, praying to him earnestly. Take the cup from me. He sees what's coming. He sees the pain, the sadness, the torture on a cross, the death. Take this cup from me, Father. But not my will, but thine be done. What a profound reminder that it's not our desires, whether that desire is to avoid pain, whether that desire is for a big fancy car or a house or money, but it's about the Father's will, because we know our Father has nothing but the best in store for us, and that avoiding the pains and the injuries of this earthly life don't always get us what we need. This little guy who just happened to crawl up here right now, we found in the garage, curled up inside of my Harley Davidson. Yeah, inside. He was like, literally, I could fit him in the palm of my hand. And I'm sitting here saying this now because even as he wants to jump into the screen and all that, I'm thinking about what the plan is, what the plan was. I guess that doesn't sound quite right. Let me try again for what I'm trying to get across. There was a will. We weren't looking for a cat. But then there's what God did. Now, I could have gone with my desire and my will and said, no, I'm not having a cat, and left him out there. There's a lot of boonie cats here on Guam. Most of them die. They're considered a pest, not a pet. A rodent. You get rid of them. But instead I chose to say, Father, not my will, but thine be done. And we brought the little cat in, tried to find it a home, didn't find it. And he stayed. And we only called him Harley Davidson because that's where we found him. And suddenly he started to grow on us. And suddenly my wife and I were sitting together just the other day and we said, you know what? Our lives are so much better because he's in it. I guess that's why I strongly suggest, even as this kitty cat tries to eat the cords on my computer, that we submit to the Father's will and not just pursue our desires. Ask, and it will be given to you. Truth. That is truth. But ask, not according to your own desire, but according to the Father's will. I think a lot of times, if we humbled ourselves and took that approach and asked God first if what we're actually desiring is His will, I don't think we'd be surprised by the answer. Because I think sometimes we would hear the answer is no, it's not my will. But we would be surprised at how good it feels just to accept the divine will in our lives rather than getting our desires. Think on that tonight, brothers and sisters, today, as you prepare to go forth. Rest in the Lord today. And when you are coming across your desires and your wants, ask God if it's His desire. And if you're pretty sure it's good, it's holy, and it's honoring Him and in accord with His desire, then do ask boldly, knowing that God, who has given you a mission, given you this life, wants to give you the resources you need to be able to live it out and live in Him boldly. God bless you, brothers and sisters. I look forward to seeing you tonight.